So sorry for the crappy footage here. I'm just using my GoPro just for a second here while I got my good camera in the back. So don't worry, the footage is going to get better. The sound's going to be better. But I'm going to go back up in the woods and investigate a couple of those areas that Todd noticed and I didn't find until I looked at the clips later on, where he found that wood pile where he thought it might be a Bigfoot nest. At the same time, of course, it could have been put there by man somehow. There is a road nearby. Like, I just want to go take a look and see what it's all about and go for another hike in the woods, because it is really nice there. I really do like it. Even though it's sprinkling a little bit of rain, I want to go up there and investigate a bit, take you around to a couple spots I never got a chance to look at a little bit more deeply. And I'm also going to make a video for you about is training the muscles, not the joints, meaning not to stretch the muscle. I'm going to talk about that and about stretch and how it equates to muscle growth and how to use it properly. All right, let's go. Let's go for a ride. Let's go up there and see what this whole nature thing's all about and talk about some bodybuilding and maybe monster hunting, whatever. I mean, but we're going to get some bodybuilding in there. So you guys that are here for just bodybuilding, don't worry. I'm going to get that out of the way in the beginning of the video, and then you can just have a lot of fun after by clicking off my video or by watching the other stuff that I'm doing. All right, cool. Nice compromise. Good. All right, see you up there. Train the muscles, not the joints. You want to find the Bigfoot, you got to eat like the Bigfoot. So welcome back to another episode of Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and I'm standing out in the rain. I had the back door up on my truck to make sure I block out the rain while I'm going to go up in the woods. I'm going to go up in the woods, explore around a little bit. But first I'm going to talk to you a little bit about stretching in an exercise in order to get the most amount of gains for a muscle group. Now, a lot of people say full range of motion is the only way to stretch. Okay, there's a difference between full range of motion of a particular muscle and full range of motion for a particular joint, right? Because different muscles will hit stretch states than others, depending on what plane of movement you're using that joint in. You could stretch all the way down in a shoulder press, but you're not necessarily stretching out the chest, are you? Right? Huh? Yeah? So depending on the exercise will depend on what range of motion is needed in order to stretch a certain muscle group. It's not just stretch as much as you can and then you automatically hit the muscle group you want to hit. Second of all, there's a point of diminishing return. We all know that an elastic band can stretch to a certain point, but then after you hit that breaking point, then it just snaps. A lot of people think that the snapping point is what you're supposed to get to in order to grow muscle, and that is the opposite of what you want to do, because if you snap the muscle, that means you've put a certain amount of pressure on the tendons, which is not necessarily helping the muscle grow at all. You're just basically over-exerting tension on the tendons. The muscle's already hit its absolute stretch, and then the stress transfers to the tendon, and then the tendon pulls out of the bone or tears or, you know, pulls or something like that. So there's this ideal range of motion that increases the stretch of the muscle, but doesn't put an exponential amount of stress on the actual tendons or the joints. Now, the way this works is when you actually lower the weight, say you're doing bench presses and you lower the weight, and then there's a point to where the elbows start to go beyond your body and go behind. Now the amount of stress, like the torquing stress of popping the shoulder out of the joint, or the torquing stress on certain areas, is way higher than it would be actually on the muscle group. And as a bodybuilder or as an exercise enthusiast, you want to keep the stress on the muscles, not on the joints, because if the joints take the stress, they basically just get destroyed. They don't recover like muscles do. They recover way slower, and at the same time the joints are already the weak link, so putting more stress on them doesn't actually help your training progress. It doesn't help them get stronger. If anything, it just causes them to tear or to create a chronic arthritis in the area or inflammation. So this will cause more problems for you than help. Some people think bouncing off the joints somehow strengthens the joints. It doesn't strengthen the joints, it just tears them apart and wears them down. This is a misconception out there where people think you can train the joints and somehow the joints will become stronger because of it. Guess what? The joints are already getting trained during other ranges of motion, but if you overtrain the joints, they just break down, and that's it. You won't be training anymore. You know, and we see all sorts of hospital beds filled with athletes that overtrain the joints, you know, and they get MCL tears or they get labral tears, you know, all the stuff that happened. Even the stuff that happened to me in hockey, right? I got a labral tear in the shoulder, and it affects my training to this day. So the fact is that I know from experience that overstretching the joint is not going to help your muscular gains. It's not going to help you prevent injury. If anything, it's going to push you deeper into it. You want to find that stretch where you keep the stress and the pressure in the muscle bellies, but not in the insertion points. You'll actually feel right close to where the muscle inserts. That's where you're going to start feeling the pressure. And when you start feeling that pressure, and then 2 or 3 days after your workout, you start feeling a chronic inflammation, that means there's something you're doing wrong for your body type, right? And somebody else might have a different technique for them, but you have to honor the fact that you may have a certain limitation in the way that your body needs to move in order to ideally hit the muscle, but not destroy the joints. And you see this. You can see some of the different Mr. Olympias, they train differently, right? And some of them will train with this range of motion that seems insane. It's almost like yoga meets bodybuilding. And other guys will train in the bar, doesn't touch their chest. They're several inches above and they're just, you know, doing this sort of range of motion. Or you see guys like Scooby on the internet that doesn't even bring his elbows past here. He basically is just parallel to the floor. That's where his upper arm is, right? When he does bench presses, and he has a huge chest. So the thing is that you don't necessarily need to do extreme ranges of motion. You need to do the right range of motion for you, and you need to honor where you're feeling those tensions, right? So make sure that you stretch the muscle. Yes, you have to stretch the muscle, but don't transfer that stretch to the joint in order to get the stretch, because you might be doing yourself a disservice. So I hope this helps you out in your training. I'm going up there. This could be the last time we ever talk. So,
it could be the last time we talk before you experience something that scares the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, like, you know, the thing is, there are different types of tribes and things that talk about, like, some of them talk about the furry man in the forest that was like a bad guy, and then other people talk about it being an incredible blessing. So, you know, I'm more afraid of the bears than that, you know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I just want to go up there and check it out, get some video footage. So you guys ready to go now? Are you ready to go up there? I'm going to investigate that little nest slash pile of lumber that Todd discovered that he didn't tell me about, by the way, until I actually looked at the footage later on. So I'm going to go up there and take a look at that and see if there's something to that, or if it's kind of just, you know, just a random man-made piece of pile of wood or whatever. It's probably man-made, but we'll see. Let's take a look anyway and let's see what we find. Unfortunately, it's piss and rain again. So this is going to be a little bit of an interesting sort of trek through here. I'm trying to kind of keep my camera in one piece at the same time as go through these kind of conditions. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, let's go for a little journey here and see what happens. Hopefully nothing too fantastic, but you never know, because I seem to have weird stuff happen around me all the time. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Now you might be wondering why. I mean, you can't see, I have a tripod today. Well, I have a tripod for a couple reasons. One is to set up the camera for shots. The other is to have something that's hard and metallic, because it's a pretty good sturdy tripod to use as a weapon if I need it out here. Not that it would do much, but sometimes it can confuse an animal or a cougar or something enough that it might think twice about, you know, approaching you or whatever. Maybe it bites the tripod a couple times or something. So Yeah, a couple reasons. I'm a well-prepared guy. Well, not really that prepared, but kind of prepared anyway. So what is my goal here? My goal is to explore around in nature, really. You know, whether you believe in Bigfoot or Sasquatch or not, you know, I don't care really. I'm just kind of open to possibilities in life. Doesn't mean I'm married to one opinion or another. I'm not saying that a Sasquatch or Bigfoot is a for sure thing or anything, but I am open to the fact that I don't know everything. And that's one thing that a lot of people need to embrace a little bit more in life. And even though some things are more likely than others, I am aware of the limitations of the thinking of humanity and how many times humanity has been wrong and how many times the scientific community has been wrong and then had to be recorrected later on. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming out in the news now that's proving what I'm talking about, and it will continue to be revealed over the next 10 or 20 years how wrong science has been. So sometimes it's better to be open and to increase your experience, like I always say, than to be closed-minded and trust what has been told to you instead of investigate for yourself. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm out here to do. Venture around a bit, have a little bit of fun, and yeah, take a look at this beautiful place I live in, Harrison Hot Springs, BC, Canada. So some of you guys have been asking where I am, and this is where I am. I'm in Harrison Hot Springs, BC, Canada. I've grown up here. I lived in a different town before, but now I'm closer to nature than I was before, even closer, because before I lived closer to Vancouver. So yeah, it's beautiful out here. And if you see anything behind me, you let me know, because yeah, I need a little warning here. Another reason why the tripod, you know, like I said, here's the tripod. Pretty strong metallic sort of object. Reason why I have it is it's something that would be good to fend off something if I need to. Well, nothing really big anyway, but it might be good enough to kind of create enough distance for me to get away. Who knows? If I look behind my shoulder, it's because I am by myself up here, which is, I'm on a trail. It's a well-worn trail. There's campsites nearby and stuff, so it's not like it's not manned ever, so I'm not too nervous about wildlife, but although there is some up here, so I still need to be aware, still need to have the head on a swivel, right? Hence, when Todd was up here, his head was all over the place. The guy was like, it was almost like he was on a Navy SEAL mission. Well, that was weird. What the hell was that? Like I said, see? Anyway, I don't know what that was. I think a branch just fell down or something. Anyway, you have to just forgive me a little bit. I will be a little head on the swivelly out here because, like I said, I am by myself. So, got to be careful in the woods. Can't be stupid. It is helpful to make a little bit of noise to make sure you don't have bears coming around. So talking to the camera is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to talk to the camera because I'm, you know, you have to make enough noise here to make sure that there's no accidental stumbling upon things that are not supposed to be stumbled upon. You don't want to shock a poor little bear or somebody. You want them all to be friends. Nobody be in danger, you know. Jason's not a threat. As if, eh? As if. Although Gallantians are threats, kind of like, they can be pretty intimidating. Gallantians can be pretty intimidating. There's no doubt about that. Thought I saw something move back there. It's probably just in my head because there's branches and stuff moving as well, just because the rain's falling on the leaves. So. But like I said, it never hurts to be aware, never hurts to investigate things. Sometimes the neat part about this camera, I can actually zoom in a little bit and see better than my eyes can. So that's a plus. So it's like a detection device. I will detect things as I come into contact with nothing, hopefully. But we'll see, yeah. Neat rocks around here, neat formations. It's just feels so ancient here in some way, right? Look at this. And there's woods up there, more distant, lots of stuff there. So you go up this rock here, and then go up there. It goes way back, like I'm gonna say about 100 meters probably before you hit a cliff face of some sort, like the side of a mountain. So yeah, it's pretty neat out here. There's a, like you saw on the trail before, basically there's a little bit of cliffs that are on this side, and then that side's the lake. And so as we're walking this way, you'll see like that side, basically there's a big drop off, right? So it goes up like this, and then there's a mountain side where it's basically nothing but sheer rock and stuff. So it'd be impossible for a person like myself to climb. Maybe a rock climber or somebody that's expert that, maybe they'd be able to do that, but you have to go through quite a bit of woods in order to get there first. That's something I wouldn't mind exploring at some point, just going up that way if I'm with somebody or whatever, just in case I fall down something and make sure I'm okay. But sometimes I find the thing that's staggering about people on the internet or people in general is that they have this perception that the entirety of the wilderness has been explored when 98% of it hasn't been explored, and most of it you cannot traverse. Like if you walk into there, you'll notice that this is like one of the most friendly environments to walk in, and this is really difficult, right? I mean, the speed that you can walk in is so slow compared to an animal, right? It's crazy. Like you can see bears just fly through this stuff, but people, I mean, you walk through it and I mean, you're getting hindered and you're tripping over sticks, you're falling into little holes and little places where there's a bunch of leaves packed up, and then all of a sudden your foot falls through, right? So you start to notice that how badly built human beings are for the forest. And you can see that, hey, maybe it's possible that there's a lot of stuff out there that's undiscovered because we just can't get to it on foot. We just can't, not efficiently anyway. So that's why I'm open to this. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that say thinking that anything like this exists is just stupid because you can't find a carcass. Well, that's assuming these beings aren't as smart as we are or have some sort of intelligence, right? So if there is something that exists, what if it is smart? If it's smart, then it would know that hiding its evidence of its existence would actually be in its benefit to survival, right? That's something to keep in mind. Pretty silent out here. That's all I can say. Pretty silent. It's a nice place though. I know I've said it a million times, but there's something nice about it. Look at this. Look at this. I just noticed this. Just look at this. I'm going to bring you in here just for a second. Looks like a trail. I wonder if this goes up. Look, it's just right through here. Let's take you in here for a second. I wonder. This could be something that's like traversed easily up here, up into the bank there, because right here, you see right there, that's just the lip of the bank, and then you go over top of that little mound there. But this looks like almost like a little trail. It's kind of obscured, but it's something that, yeah, neat. Doesn't look like there's any sort of river. It's like all plants and leaves and everything everywhere, so it doesn't make sense for there to be a pathway here, unless something's using it maybe. Or I might be overreaching here, I mean, which is fine, because that's what it's all about, you know, just opening the mind, ask questions. What's really happening? What's possible? I don't know, but yeah, it seems like a little bit of a trail. Maybe the animals made it. Maybe some deer go up in there. Deer can move quite well, and same bears, right? So yeah, I'm honing my tracking skills as a Gallantian, right? So here we go. Just found a creek bed that Todd was playing in the other day, and now you can see that it goes straight up. See, goes straight up. So basically, you could walk all the way up there. So this could be a trail that an animal would use, or a bear or something, you know. Sometimes dried up creek beds are good places for bears or animals to use as a trail to get through. It's easy. Lots of footholds because of the rocks, so it's easy to climb up and stuff. So now, I know this is kind of stuff that maybe makes sense to everybody else who's been in the woods their whole life. I mean, it can happen, you know, trees fall over and everything. But this is a weird thing about this trail is that there's no wind coming through here. You see this? There's no wind, like there's no wind, like nothing. So I don't get, like look, like there's not, this is not a wind tunnel. Like there's nothing, there's absolutely no wind that could come in here. And then I find this, right, where this log is just strewn across the trail, and there's like lots of other logs here just broken across. I'm not getting what that's from. I honestly don't understand. It looks like it's been here for quite some time, but they're not, as you can see, they're not sawed clean, like they weren't done by humans that way. This one might be. Maybe this one is. Yeah, maybe that one is. There's a bunch of logs that fell down up there too. Like, yeah, I guess, you know, it happens, but this one is weird because it's cracked right off, right? So strange. I know for a fact too, I'm like too far up here. Like it wouldn't be practical for anybody to chop trees down and then drag them back. It wouldn't be practical. So there's no way they would do this. Like, huh. And the only other answer I guess that I can come up with too is also maybe rotten. Maybe it had some sort of bug or something in it, but I don't know. Look at that. Seeing another sign of some deadfall here. And it's pretty steep to get down there. I could probably get down there, but I think you can kind of get the point just from where I'm sitting here. Look how big that tree is. It looks like it just got pushed over. It wasn't chopped over, because there's other trees right beside it. Like it wouldn't be in a place where you could chop that part. Strange. And like I said, the wind is just not so extreme here, and all the other trees seem to be fine. Like all the other roots are in. It's just that one on its own. So that looks strange to me. Like I said, there could be probably logical explanations everywhere else, but that looks a little suspect to me, just a tiny bit, you know. I'm open to your suggestions, whatever you got to say. I'm not, like I said, I'm not married to anything, but yeah, that's kind of strange. And the guy that Todd was talking about is a close personal friend of mine, and he did actually get chased by something here. And he said it was so close to him that there's no way in hell it was a bear. So I believe him. I believe him. I don't, this guy's not nuts in any way, shape, or form. He's not crazy. He's and he actually has another witness to back it up. So it wasn't just him seeing it, it was him and his wife. So yeah, I honor people's experience. You know, that's the difference between me and other people. And when hundreds or thousands of people have had an experience, and then somebody I know who's very credible, not just some wingnut on the internet or something, talking about it, then I say, well, maybe there's something here. Maybe, perhaps there's a misinterpretation of what happened. Maybe it was a Kodiak grizzly or something, and they're like somehow misinterpreting it, even though it's only 10 feet away. But I don't think so, because when you say something is walking on 2 feet, doing the whole gorilla sort of walk at the same time, like that's what it was described to me as, is that this thing walked like a gorilla, where it pulled itself with its front paws and then had the back legs going forward. That's not how a bear runs. Bears don't run like that. So, and bears don't often run straight downhill either. So that's the other thing. So this thing came straight down a big embankment, right? Yeah, something to consider. Can you remember if this was here the other day when I walked under that tree that was across the trail? I don't remember this being here, but maybe it was. I'll check the footage and see, but maybe it was here. But yeah, look at this. And then here's the thing that I walked under the other day when I was talking to Todd, but I know I was so busy talking to him. But look, this whole tree is like, this whole tree just laying here. Not uprooted here, it came from somewhere else. Strange. Strange. Oh well. All right. Kind of spooky in here. So many spider webs, so I know that at least for the last day or so something hasn't been through here, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Made it to the river. Alright, so we'll keep going along the path. That way's the way Todd and I went, and we went up here, and then there was that pile of logs or whatever, so I'll go take a look at that and see what that's about. But yeah, we're only about 5 minutes away now, not too far, so alright, let's keep going. Man, this is steep. Good workout for legs though, running this thing. Man, you get a good burn in the butt and the calves, that's for sure. All right. Whew. This is weird. I don't know how anything could be in here, but you never know. Got a weird sort of alcove in there. I wouldn't be able to say it's a nest of any kind, but you never know. So a lot of logs put here, that's for sure. Strange, lots of trees, lots of burnt wood, you know. Might have been wood discarded from the forest fires, but these little sticks here, that's the kind of thing that I'm not really sure about. I don't really know what that's about. I don't know why that's there. Looks like they're placed in a way for a bonfire though, or a tent or something. So, but I can't see somebody want to start a forest fire like this. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope this helped you out with your training and maybe entertain you a little bit or educated you or whatever it might have done. Hopefully you like this video. Share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe. And thanks a lot for watching, and thanks a lot to the Patreon supporters. And oh yeah, if you need to get hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com and take care for now.